call, 0800 626 424, toll free, so give us a call. Now, we're going to talk to Tariana shortly about the foreshore and seabed, so I sort of want to leave that, but what I did want to consider is this whole notion about racism, racism across the board, and I suppose in the bigger picture, this whole notion of racism is about the ability of one people to control the destiny of another. That, from what I remember, in terms of discussions around what racism is about that whole notion. And it can be in all sorts of ways and means. It can be by legislation, or it can be by what we've seemed to have come up with is this whole notion of racism by words. So, for example, in the rugby league scenario, this fellow Joey Johns called Greg Inglis burp, beep, but the word black was in there somewhere. So I'm just wondering about how we feel about these words, because if we were truthful, I can recall a day when I've been called black by many of my mates from school, and they laugh it off. They call that, even certain members of Parliament still call me that, by the way. But that be that as it may. And he sort of tended to laugh it off. And we had all sorts of nicknames when I was at St Stephen's School. I suspect it would be the same for many of the other Māori boarding schools. And indeed, when I think about many of the iwi and travelling around the country, I don't think it would be uncommon, and you can tell me if it's wrong, for some of our people to talk about, our relations as, oh, that's a blackie, give them a call. Just use those words like that. Or nigger. Those are words that have been used amongst us as pet names. It might be a nickname, pet name, call it what you like. They might say mangu. They might say dusty. They might say pandy. Any of all these sorts of names. Any of these names, they might come up in terms of nicknames. But if someone was to say, say for example, a Pākehā New Zealand was to use that against the Māori, they'd be pretty much taken to the cleaners as being racism. A criticism that Pākehā New Zealanders do have is that we Māori do it, and hello, what's the problem with them doing it? So if you've been ever been called by a racist name, and you don't have to say it on air, because that might put, unless it's something like blackie, because I think we can get away with that one, but swear words or otherwise, let's leave them off the page. But if you think that we're getting too precious about those names now, that we should in fact open the door up for Pākehās to feel safe enough to call us blackie or brownie or chocker. Chocker's another one that's been used, and especially in Australian Rugby League. That's what they call old Anthony Mundine, apparently, and he hasn't got a problem with it for some reason. I just want to see whether how do you feel if I was to sort of come up to you and say, hey blackie, or hey chocker, hey chock, or hey tiakarete. Any of those names that people have used, do you think that we're getting a bit too precious about that? Or do you think we should bang that one on the ear, bang it right on the head, that we shouldn't have any part of it, no matter who's doing it, ourselves as well, we shouldn't have any part of it to get involved in that sort of stuff.